welcome back. Or if you're new here, welcome to my channel, Rose Between Pages. Rosie here, and welcome to a quarterly year wrap-up. Josh is there.
Hello!
He will be speaking about his in a little bit, what he's read in the past 3 months. Let's dive in. I read 14 books in the past 3 months. I read 3 in July, 5 in August, and 6 in September. I have 8 physical books here, but some of the physical books that I actually read, we returned to the little library because I didn't enjoy them, or I enjoyed them but not to the point where I would reread. Let's go into my July reads. Josh also read 1 book in July.
Yep.
He'll speak about that in a bit. Get it out for him.
Thank you.
Right, this is gonna have to be a graphic, is this one. But the first book that I read in July was Bone Harvest by James Brogden. This was about a soldier from World War I, and he lived in no man's land. He was what they call a deserter. And he found a village run by a pharaoh cult after the war. He got married and moved to a village, and an elderly woman called Denny was had suspicions. But the thing is, everybody thought that she was crazy because she had some sort of dementia. So that was a 3 stars from me. And obviously, as you can see, it is no longer with us physically. Yeah. I did read it physically. The second book I actually have physically was It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This was actually quite a cute romance. It was about Lily Blossom Bloom. Sorry about that. This was about Lily Blossom Bloom and her relationships with Ryle and Atlas. Right. I absolutely despised Ryle. Or Riley, whatever the fuck you call him. Because he abused her, and it's basically a toxic relationship with them two. And basically, he tried to make Lily think that, oh, he's only doing it because he loves her, and all that fucking shit. Like, there's diary entries of her childhood, but they're wrote to Ellen DeGeneres, and she's obsessed with Ellen DeGeneres. But Atlas was adorable, and I cannot wait for the second one, which is It Starts With Us. I'll put a graphic here. I cannot wait to read about Atlas and Lily again, because Atlas was actually one of my favourite characters in this. He was such a sweetheart, and he treated Lily like a queen, really. So that's that. Trigger warnings for abusive / toxic relationship and close sexual assault in this, so be careful. 4 stars. The last book that I read in July was Secrets We Kept. I can't remember who this is by, but this was an audiobook that I listened to. This was based on Soviet Russia, and it was based around this woman called Irina. She became a spy, and she translates Russian and English. But she works as a typer or typist. Basically, she works on a typewriter at an office every day, and people are wanting to kill this author that she is massive on. So that's my July reads. Okay, in July I read 1,193 pages. Now we're going on to August, and in August I read 1,644 pages. First off, this was an awful read. I thought I was going to enjoy this, but I didn't actually enjoy it as much as I really wanted to. And that was the Silmarillion by Tolkien. There was a lot of description in this, and it was about elvish clans and how Morgoth became the villain he actually is. There was different backstories on different characters. There was a war between species, like there always is in Lord of the Rings. There was dragons, there was incest. There wasn't any plot to this at all, but I think it was just getting us to know the past, so what happened before Lord of the Rings. But I just wasn't here for this book. 2 stars. Second book that I read. Hey, hang on, no, I'm actually going to talk about these two together because they're part of the same series. So we have the first one in the series. The series is called The Dark Tower, and this is the Gunslinger. And the second one in the series, which is called The Drawing of the Free. I'm taking a little bit of a break from this series, but I'm reading standalones that have something to do with this series at the minute. So, The Gunslinger, I absolutely fell in love with this book. The main character, which was called Roland, I'm pretty sure his name was Roland. Yeah, his name is Roland. Sorry, that took me a while. His name is Roland, and he gave me vibes of 2 of my favourite fucking characters from games. He gave me the vibes of John Marston, because of the way he looks and the way that he acts as well. And he also reminded me of Geralt of Rivia from Witcher, because of the way he talks. Like, he gave me them really good vibes ever since I met him in this book. Basically, in this one, you're following the sorcerer, but Roland calls him the Man in Black because he actually doesn't know his name to get to the tower. In this book, you have no idea what the tower is. And in the second one, you have no idea what the tower is. You just know that Roland needs to get to this tower and defeat it. You have no idea at all. Like, in the second one, it just tells you about the levels, and you are introduced to different characters in the second one. Roland is the last gunslinger. You have no idea what happened to the others until later on in this book. And he has an apprentice called Jake on the way who has no clue how he got into the desert. There's a lot of events in this, so much that it'd be spoilers saying a little bit about them, so I can't say too much about this one. And I can't say too much about this one because this is following Roland's journey still. You're still continuing. So, in this one, you end on a beach. In this one, you start on a beach. So, Roland goes through 3 doors. He meets Eddie the junkie, Odetta, who is a black woman in the segregation era, and I think she has schizophrenia because there's 2 personalities in her. There's the good as gold personality, and then there's the evil personality, and somehow they merge together. You will find out if you read this. And you also meet Jack, who is an asshole in this, and I can't really say much more about these 2 books, but as you could tell, I loved both of these. I gave Gunslinger a 5-star, and I gave Drawing of the Free 4.75 stars, because I absolutely love this. I cannot wait to get back into this series. The other 2 books that I read, I don't own physically, but one of them is an audiobook and one of them is an ebook, but I had to return the ebook because someone else loaned it. I don't read ebooks that quick, I don't think. So, the audiobook that I read was Flatshire. Again, another romance. What is happening with me, guys? I have no idea. But I'm trying to get more into romance and different other genres, so that was really fun. I thought it was quirky and cute. You're following Sophie and Leon. I loved the narrators because there was two different narrators. There was a male narrator for Leon, and there was a female narrator for Tiffy. And basically in this book, Tiffy is moving into Leon's flat. They share the same bed, but they've not met whatsoever. It is a slow burn romance. It's a cute ending, is this. There is, right, let's just say there's a psycho ex-boyfriend. It's friends to lovers. And it's also Sunshine Girl, ex-golden retriever boy. It was adorable. Loved it. I gave this audiobook a 4.5 stars. The ebook I read was Life of Pi, but I had to return it. You're following Pi and his family who live in a zoo and are zookeepers. You're also following Pi through his religious journey. There is a shipwreck and Pi is alone on a boat with a tiger, hyena, orangutan and a zebra. I didn't get to finish that, but that's how far I got into it, and it was a 3 stars. So, quite enjoyed them. Let's go on to my September reads. I read fucking 6 books. I read 1,709 pages in this month. Let's start off with a bad one again. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. I had heard people on BookTube and Bookstagram talking about this book, and I thought, oh, I'll give it a go. I really did not like this whatsoever. You're following the Sinclair family. It's so fucking bad, is this. Like, the more I read, the more I hate the characters. Like, the main character, Cadence, she was always wanting sympathy for an accident that happened 2 years ago. There's her love interest, Gat, who fucks around with her feelings all the time. And her cousins are lying to her all the time. And the aunts and her mum are acting like nothing fucking happened. And the plot twist at the end of this was shit as fuck. 1 star for me. That is going towards the little library. Is that? Because, nope, no way am I reading that again. But then, I started to pick up again. I read The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, and I gave this 5 stars. I absolutely love this. You're following Star, her family and friends, and I don't really have a lot of books that have the main character as a person of colour, so that was really interesting for me. I like the aspects, and you're following Star's life in the ghetto, her friendships and her relationships. This isn't a spoiler, by the way, but her best friend got murdered by a police officer and she's trying to get justice for him. There's riots, there's protests, and Star eventually finds her voice. It's such a good book. I love this so much. I need to cut this part off because my phone is dying. I listened to an audiobook and it was my first time reading this book and listening to this. I've seen the movie, the first movie, but I need to see the second and the third one. And that is Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. I loved this book. Like, it's basically a Wikipedia of magical creatures. Eddie Redmayne was the narrator of this, and I absolutely love his voice. I could listen to it every single day of my life. There was sound effects in this of the animals making, like, the different creatures making their own noises, and it was really cool, and I found this really informative. I gave this 4 stars. I absolutely loved this. The next fucking book that I read was Piranathy by Susanna Clarke. To be honest, I didn't really enjoy this. I wanted to enjoy this. I actually, like, annotated and everything. Like, I annotated the book and everything, so I tabbed it as well, and I had to take all my tabs out because I was not happy with this book. I just hated this book. You're following Piranathy, who is a scientist, and you're following his journal entries about the house that he's in, the statues, and the other people that are in this house. he forgets all about his original life. He breaks the fourth wall, which I found really interesting. He broke it once. And I really wish I didn't tab this. It was going smoothly at first. Then it started going downhill. Then it picked up for like 2-3 pages. Then it went back downhill. So this got a 2-star for me. The next book, Josh has actually read this. And he enjoyed it. And this is Girl Missing by Sophie Mckenzie. I actually enjoyed this, but not to the point where I would reread this. I thought I was a little too old to be reading this. I'm 21, and it seemed like this was aimed at teenagers that are in high school. So high school me would have loved this, because I used to love reading YA. But basically you're following this girl called Lauren, who she's found out that she's adopted, and she's trying to find her real mum, her real parents, and her real family. And you basically follow her and her best friend James on this journey to find her mum and her dad. I loved the characters in this. I loved the ending of this. It was such a good closed ending, wrapped up ending. I enjoyed it, but I think I'm just a little bit too old for this. I think you felt the same way, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Good book.
It is a good book, don't worry. Like, we would highly recommend it to people. And then the last book that I read in September was When She Was Good by Michael Robham. And I did start this sometime either earlier this year or last year, and I went into a crime reading slump because I had read 3 crimes before I had read this or started to read this, and I got to page 150 and I DNF'd because crime reading slump. So I kept it to see if I could give it another chance. I gave it another chance. There was tears. There was tears for this. I actually have a vlog. I'll link it down below. The vlog surrounding this shows you my reactions and everything. Go away, fly. And basically it is about this young woman called Evie. You're basically following her, and you're learning about what happened to her as a child. Editing Rosie here. So I forgot to mention the fact that you're following 2 perspectives. You're following Evie and Cyrus. Cyrus is a psychiatrist trying to figure out what happened to Evie and why she is the way she is right now. And he's trying to figure out if this paedophile is actually mixed in with Evie. So paedophilia is actually a trigger warning for this book. There is sexual assault in this, there is drug abuse in this, there is abuse, child grooming. There is a lot of fucking trigger warnings for this, so please be careful when you go into this and look up the trigger warnings. Because I had to put this down multiple times and I cried quite a bit, if I'm honest. Well, nearly cried. I nearly cried, but I think I cried once at this. And I can't really say much more because I have a vlog on this. So that is what I read in July, August and September. Now I'm going to get Josh to talk about his reads. Hello.
Hello.
So Josh is going to talk about his now.
Yes, I don't think this book needs an introduction because it is the brilliant beginning, The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. That's how I'm going to say it correctly. Fantastic book. Like, just overall really fucking good. I mean, thing is, I'm one of the people that don't like cracking spines, and this spine has not been cracked a single time.
He read this in July, by the way.
Yeah, I read this in July.
It was the only book he read in July.
It took me about a week to read it. Which is really good for me because I am a slow, well, I wouldn't say a slow reader, depending on if I like the book or not. For this, I was reading Chronicles of Malef Darkblade, Volume 1. I've got both volumes.
Yeah, he's pointing into the closet because they're actually in there.
Yeah, they're in there right at the front, which is really
I'll
nice.
get them out in a bit. Just give me a minute.
But just for the basic premise of this book, Rin is a war orphan from the First Poppy War. Because Red Emperor and all that decided to go to war with the Federation and the Hesperians. And so she's taken in by this drug-run family, this opium trading family. Basically, she works at a shop as a cover for this opium trading business. And she hears about Singard, which is the capital of the Nikaran Empire at the moment, during the first book. And she realizes that if she can pass the regional exam called the Keju, Keju, I think it's how you pronounce it, correct me if I'm wrong, she can go to Singard and go to the military academy and basically become a part of the military. And so she ends up learning with a tutor, I cannot for the life of me remember his name. I'll get this one to edit it in after. I cannot for the life of me remember his name. And she's learning for around about 2 years straight against elite families that have been taught and were learning since they were able to breathe, basically. But time comes around to the Keju, and she ends up basically coming the best out of the entire region. Slight spoiler, but you should know by now. She's not going to go to the Keju and fail it, then this book would finish at like page 200, and there wouldn't be 2 other books after it. Overall, this book was fucking fantastic. Like,
what did you give it out of 5?
Well, 5-star. It took me 6 days to read this book. For me, that's fucking phenomenal. The only book that I have read as fast as that was Verity. So yeah.
So that's his July read.
Yeah, highly recommend this book. I can't believe she's still in university as well.
Yeah, the writer. If you're uncultured.
Okay, September read. Well, September/October read, because I was in a bit of a reading slump because PS5 was obtained and PS5 was immensely played on.
Hence why he didn't read anything in August. He was busy, gaming.
And we had a course as well.
Yeah, we did.
So this book is the Belisarius Call, The Great Work by Guy Haley, part of the Warhammer 40k universe.
Apologies.
It's hard to speak about books like this because you can't say anything's fact, because a lot of stuff in the Warhammer 40k universe is up to the reader. It depends on how you interpret it.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
Yeah. But this is a story about Belisarius Call, mainly about him, and how he's basically trying to obtain knowledge to basically save the galaxy from chaos and all the other heretical people and creatures within it. And I think I gave this a 4-star. I gave this a 4-star because I really did like it, and I would have finished it sooner if my PS5 hadn't come. And as you could tell, I had tabbed the absolute loving hell out of this book. Each chapter would get at least 5 to 10 tabs. That's mainly because of how I tab and my tabbing system.
Yeah.
So yeah, and if you're wondering why, I don't know if you can tell or not, but there's a lot of them at top and bottom. Basically, my way of tabbing, if I just tab at the top near the page number, it means I like the entire page or whatever that tab is corresponding to. Not too much else to say about this book. I loved it. If I were to read it again, I would. But at the moment, I want to read other 40k books. Particularly, I want to start the Horus Heresy, because there is so much to read. It's over 50 books long.
So, yeah.
Insane. There's 54 novels, 24 novellas, like 47 audio dramas, and a number of large short stories. That's insane for a series, and it's got 19 different authors who wrote books for the series and voiced and shit like that. Like, that's insane. But it's going to take me a while to get all those books and then even read them. I need to start with the first few books first. But Asara is cool. Would definitely definitely recommend those who like not only the Mechanicus but Belisarius is cool himself to give this book a shot. So yeah.
Then after that,
We got one of the big boys.
no, we can't. Like, he can't exactly speak too much about this because he read this in October. So this is going to be
I finished this very recently.
This is going to be in our October wrap up. So next month. So be prepared for that.
Yeah, like.
He can't say too much.
No, I cannot say too much. I can just say it's a fucking fantastic book. Again, another 5-star if I'm honest. I'm probably going to give Burning God a 5-star as well. That is the final of the trilogy. If you haven't heard of it, oh my god! Like the plot twists, the unexpected turns, the betrayals, the double crossing, the deaths. The deaths were something. I do have to warn anybody who is sensitive to like SA or sexual assault. There's a lot. There's a lot, and it was so bad at one point in the first book that I actually just had to put the book down because it was that disgusting.
He did, and I wondered what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah, like I've never done that. That's why That's why
I was surprised.
Missy is so surprised by it because I've never done that with a book before. But it was the first one. This one hadn't made me do it, even though there was a lot of times where it was just like, it didn't make me just put it down. Burning God's alright. Burning God's more action than anything.
We're gonna talk about these we're reading and gonna read next in a minute. Give us a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, we're back.
Hi.
Current reads. Josh has already kind of spoiled what he's reading, so I'm gonna let him go first with his current read.
Again, I don't think it needs an introduction, but this is the final of the trilogy, Burning God. The Burning God, sorry. By R.F. Kwan.
Yes.
And so far, this has been a fucking spectacular book. I'm almost 3/4 way through it, and I have not found anything that I don't like. Like, there have been parts where my eyes have just been like, when the fuck am I going to get to the next like juicy bit? But for the most part, all of it has been interesting. All of it's been fucking fantastic. And like, the reason why I was so like happy and amped to read this was particularly due to the ending of Dragon Republic. But of course I can't say shit.
Spoilers.
Can't say nothing. Because, wow. Let's just say that. Wow. It's just wow. But at the moment, a lot of stuff has happened. I've still got... What page am I on now? I am on page exactly on 400. And this is what, 617 pages long. So I've got 217 pages left. Now, during those 217 pages, a lot still needs to happen that I am very curious about.
Is that everything?
Yeah, I'm not going to say much about it because I haven't finished it yet.
Okay. Right. My read is This Brick. The Stand by Stephen King. I'm really enjoying it so far. I'm enjoying the different perspectives. I'm enjoying like the apocalyptic feeling, but it's also kind of creeping me out a little bit, if I'm honest, because it is Stephen King, so it's bound to creep me out a little, which is good. I am on page 485, and this is 1,325 pages long. So I still have quite a long way to go. I mean, I've read that much, so it looks like I've read a chunk, which I actually have.
Chunk!
So I can't really say much more about this because the vlog that will already be up by the time this comes out, I speak a lot more about this, so I'll link that down below as well. And next read. My next read, I can't actually say because I'm starting a new series on my channel, and you will find out what it is when the first episode comes out of season 1. All I can say is it's a horror by Joe Hill. That is all I can say. Joshy, what are you going to be reading next?
My next read, depending on what prompts I get, will be either The Chronicles of Malice Darkblade Volume 2 or something else. Really depends, because I don't really have anything else I want to read apart from this. Unless something else really takes my attention away from this, you will be seeing me reading this in the next couple of weeks, maybe.
It's like I said to Josh, I think I'm going to finish this like at the end of the month. Like, my Read More app is actually telling me that I'm going to finish this before Halloween, like 2 days before Halloween, which would actually be great because I'll be reading a horror after this. And I've also said to Josh that I think he's going to read way more books than me this month. He already is. I mean, he's already read one book. He's finished a book. I've not finished one yet.
He would, yeah.
So...
Well, you are making decent progress with the standard, that's the thing.
I mean, halfway through is like 662 pages through this, and I'm nearly at page 500. So...
Like, you are making stupidly good progress.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate yourself. I might finish... No, I probably will finish Burning Good before you finish The Stand. But I definitely will not finish Malice before you finish The Stand.
You might do.
I don't think I will.
But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep you all updated.
Okay. That is all from us. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. And comment below a stack of books.
Yes.
Or like an open book.
Fire for me.
Yeah. And we'll see you in the next video. Stay luscious, guys.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.